Okay, anybody calling dibs on the countdown or the intro?
I'll do the countdown.
All right. Chris, you want to do the intro?
Can do.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Louder Than Podcast, episode 20 on July 20th. Very coincidental. I'm happy with how that worked out. Today, we have a panel consisting of Chris.
You.
Taylor.
Hello.
Eric.
Aloha.
And Ferox as himself.
You can't say aloha just because you were in Florida, Eric.
Listen,
I was just going to say, you were in Florida, not Hawaii.
it was a tropical paradise with very slow people. Not
If you
saying
keep that
this,
after
though.
Aloha is going to be goodbye, not hello.
Okay, fine. I'll say ciao.
Yo, somebody check the general chat real quick. Just before we get started. I'm trying to log into the email.
Oh, boy.
General.
I do not have that number. I think that's Chris.
Is that Chris's number? Okay.
That's not my number.
Alright,
Which
cool.
you should probably take out of the general chat.
We should totally
Even if it
redo-
is just the last two digits.
How do you guys feel about redoing that intro now?
Nah, it's funny. We'll leave it in.
All right, great.
We're
It will stand as a
jackasses.
testament to our standards for quality or lack thereof moving forward.
Yay, quality.
Exactly. Anyway,
All right.
moving on.
Do we have a preferred order for the topics, or are we just jumping in?
You want to do... Since mine's a little more open-ended, you want to, like, end on mine, I guess?
Okay. So, let's see. Let's start with the more invigorating one, to put it politely. Aliens, Colonial Marines. So, 5 years after this game has come out, at least 5 years, the lawsuits are getting settled, as far as we can tell. However, modders are actually digging through the code to see if there is anything other than unrepentant shit piled up to the gills of that game.
Delicious.
And one modder was actually able to find something interesting with the AI modules, specifically the means by which the enemies are tethered to the levels. There's a typo where tethering was spelled as teethering once, and that broke the AI for the xenomorphs.
That's just
And
really
it's funny
funny.
'cause that was like... That's one of the big things that game was criticized for. If not, like, one of the biggest.
Yeah, I played that game. I did not hate it as much as most people, but I'm not going to be here defending it.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest disappointments was that the Xenos were positively brain dead. They were not scary in even the least. It was just they looked correct, and that's it. And even then,
Well,
it was
now
still
you know
low fidelity. Because they didn't actually understand that they were in any kind of level, because the way their AI was broken with that spelling error made them think they were just in a straight tunnel, which is why they would only run directly at you.
Yeah.
These poor boys.
Well, and it just... yeah, honestly, like, I'm of a couple minds about this. On one hand, oh boy, how did that fly, you know, through play testing and everything. That's the kind of thing that I feel like a lot of programmers would say is like, oh no, yeah, you should catch that. On the other hand, this is exactly why I don't program.
Mm.
I
Yeah, I
can
mean-
troubleshoot a lot of things. I'm someone you don't mind having on your computer, whether it's IT or just general like bullshittery. I know what I'm doing, and because of that, want nothing to do with programming.
Dude, I used to program back. I took a couple programming classes back in the day, and it literally is smack your head against the wall when you have a problem, because like if you hit space in the wrong section or you hit a comma in the wrong section, it breaks everything.
Yeah. What's the 99 bottles of beer? It's 99 little bugs in the code. Take one down, patch it around. 105 new bugs in the code.
Oh my god.
I haven't heard of that, but I dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very accurate too. Like you just have to keep it. You have to just trial and error.
It really is.
So
And-
I have a lot of sympathy for them more than other people might.
Mm.
I don't, because the troubleshooting for this thing would just be observing your game in play. The fact that the xenomorphs did not interact
That's
with
exactly
the
right.
walls or the vents or anything else to navigate the environment, it's like, this
right,
was
they were
demonstrable.
programmed to do a thing. They were not doing the thing. Like they explicitly gave them the orders to behave in certain ways, and when they weren't, they just kind of didn't do anything about it, and it kind of shows that. I mean, I've heard people accuse them of you wanted just to rush the game out and this and that. You know, we can
They were
speculate all we
siphoning
want.
money off of the project to make Borderlands 2, which would be in violation of their arrangements with Sega.
Well, that'd be in violation of probably a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, all manner of contracts, but then again, Gearbox can do no wrong because apparently they are, well, after Battleborn, nobody else wants to actually talk about them. I guess it's a pity party now.
So wait, what
They
did
went to Elysium.
What was Gearbox's response to this?
Their response to the discovery of this typo was to make a false job listing, a copy. Well, I'm trying to keep a straight face. They wanted a supervisory copy proofreader for coding.
Really?
Yeah, it was not a real listing. There was no way to apply to it, but still, it's like your job would be to do exactly this one thing we got called out on.
It was fake.
So we're gonna have a giggle about it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a mockery.
That's shit.
That's lame. Like that's beyond shit. That's just not funny.
I love
it's just
it.
a dumb joke. Of course, Eric loves it.
I love it so much. These guys are so cynical.
Yeah, right. Like how fucking like laissez-faire do you have to be to just be like, oh wow, oopsie, guess we need a proofreader.
I literally thought you were gonna say oopsie, we made a poopsie.
I mean, they did.
Oh my god. Oh, dude, these guys.
Would I have been wrong?
No, you have been on the nose. Unlike these lads.
Yeah, honestly.
Oh, dude. I kind
Gearbox
of.
needs to announce.
I love
Gearbox needs
this.
to announce Borderlands 3 sometime this century to get any goodwill back. Like, what do they have anymore?
Yeah, nothing.
Like, I feel like this must have been just something they had to rush out, right? And they just didn't really care about. Because, like, they would see, like, hey, our aliens aren't acting the way we want them to. Oh, well, just ship it out, boys. We can patch it later.
This game was in development for like 10, 15 years and had a long-standing arrangement with Sega, a big publisher. And they're actually doing a lot of good publishing lately.
Oh yeah. Well,
So
Sega, like it's arguable that Sega never really fell off too badly. I mean, I know there's people who probably would argue me on that, but
I've been liking Sega recently. Not gonna lie.
I've been liking Sega in general. Like
I've always liked Sega.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
I'm like, they haven't been doing anything too, like, crazy. And I know you think you're not a big fan of their advertising, but I kind of like their advertising.
Wait, let me look up what they've like published other than like recently.
So on the
Sega
subject of
published.
Gearbox in this scenario,
Mm-hmm.
it really does have to wonder, considering this game is 5 years old, it's already been panned, I don't think it's going to make any money outside of a masochist's bargain bin. Like, can we blame them for not patching the game to fix this obvious error?
Oh yeah, I mean they're fixing. Well, the thing is that's worth noting is the AI wasn't the only real complaint. People said it makes the game way better, but way
The game's
better
still
doesn't make it
mediocre
great.
afterwards.
Right, and like I don't necessarily know how I'm gonna feel about it. I want to go back and play it, but like they're not really worrying too much about it because the game was panned for so many other reasons that.
And it was the center of a false advertising lawsuit, too.
Oh yeah, what was the whole thing with that?
It was people that were doing basically compare contrast between the advertised content, aka the expo footage, versus the final product. And
Right.
I wish that lawsuit stuck because we could actually get some honest trade shows out of it.
Well,
But apparently the courts got wind of that being the basic idea, and they threw it out there to protect the industry.
Yay, industry.
so okay, in all fairness, in the past, couple of years, we got more Daytona, we got more Valkyria. Trying to see what else because I think the list cuts off at like 2016. But no, Sega's been pretty on the ball. So yeah, that doesn't look good for them.
Meanwhile, Gearbox has put out what recently?
Mm.
I mean, the last game I can even remember them doing was Battleborn, and while I enjoyed that, they tried to go toe to toe with Overwatch, and they failed.
Oh,
yeah, whether you enjoyed it or not, you're realistic.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I stole my box copy of it, but guess what's been gathering dust lately? Battleborn.
Mm. That
Well,
game
it's just
was a
one of those
shame.
titles where it's only as playable as the community is present.
Which we should really pivot to the one of our other topics today.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
But remind me about talking about that one part.
You know, just before we ditch the topic of Battleborn, I'd like to say this is one of those moments that proves Blizzard is not as much a bunch of nice guys as people make them out to be, where they deliberately placed their betas and free weekends to basically smother Battleborn.
True that.
Hey,
it's like when Battleborn came out, suddenly Overwatch got a free beta.
Business is business, though.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's wholesome.
No, not at all.
Oh no, that was a dirty move. Your dirty little voice.
Sorry about that. My Discord just hiccuped. I couldn't hear any of you.
Oh no, we just said like by no means are we defending it, but hey, that's business.
Yep, business is business, and you gotta be dirty sometimes.
Whether you want to argue Battleborn was stillborn or a bit of a dumpster baby, that's an argument for another day.
Yeah.
The fact is, Gearbox has been called out on this issue, which is easily fixable, but users can only manage it on one of the 3 platforms they released it on.
Yep.
And I don't know, I guess asking them to be responsible for a product they made mistakes on is a bit out of reach, considering every other failed IP they've been dipping their toes in recently.
Well, also, I don't mean this with any kind of lean. I don't have an easy answer. When do you think a developer should just say, oops, we're not patching this? You know?
I feel like this should have been one of the games that should have been like, yeah, no, this is just a lost cause at this point.
Right, like I understand that. It was a panned game for multiple reasons, not just the AI, and it's like years old at this point.
Okay, I'm going to do something I thought I wasn't going to do. I'm actually going to defend parts of the game that I enjoyed.
Great, do it. Now let's hear it.
It had some really good old school FPS elements that reminded me of classic Wolfenstein and Quake and Doom, whereby you had
Wolfensteak.
Delicious.
Yeah, BJ Blazkowicz goes to Transylvania.
Lovely.
Fights with Van Helsing. Anyway, what was I trying to say? Like classic FPS where it had things where no regenerating health, armor packs, and the like when you weren't dealing with the human enemies, their cover was negligible, so it actually felt like a good running gun, but anytime a Wayland Yutani got in there, that's beside the point. There were parts of this that felt like a suitably old school game. Like, I imagine this is part of what Duke Nukem Forever should have been, but there was no substance or style to it, but they clearly had the ideas and the tech for it. Just no competence or ambition.
That's always good.
I was trying to say nice things. I really was.
Well, no, and here's the thing, though. I'm not against it getting patched. I'm just saying, like, if they decide not to and, like, they hold to that decision, what are your thoughts on, well, you know, the game is older and it doesn't really have much market interest anyway, so do you think that they would be right in saying it's kind of a waste of our time?
You know what? I'm actually going to use Blizzard as a positive comparison here, where they were still putting out Diablo 2 patches.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, Diablo 2 got patched, was it either last year or this year?
Right.
And Diablo 2, mind you, that game is older than the purported development cycle of Colonial Marines entirely.
Well, and that's the
they
thing.
Were still doing
I'm
official
all
online
for it. I'm all for, like, supporting like older games and things like that. I think there's too much of a notion of, oh, we need to ditch this and play the next thing, ditch this and play the next thing. And there's people who won't get over old games either. I don't like that either. But, you know, there's a balance there. And just because the game is like 4, 5, 6, 7 years old doesn't mean it doesn't deserve attention.
Yeah, I mean, I have no expectation of them going to patch this now, but I am going to hold
No.
it over their head that such a simple fix was available as deleting one letter in a line of code to vastly improve upon the combat in their game, and they didn't do it.
That's nuts. That's so nuts.
It really is.
I will not let Gearbox forget that.
No, I
will not
definitely
forgive.
think that's
You will
where it
not
gets
forget.
ridiculous. It was an easy fix. The fix is known. Like, you really
I feel
don't
like-
have an excuse.
It should
And when
just
the
been.
modders are supporting the game more than the developers, this late down the line, when it's a financial disaster, I think that says something about the community they've built up being too good for the developers.
Yeah, to an extent.
I don't know,
Mm.
guys. Like, I feel like Gearbox just really dropped a ball, and when they dropped the ball, they're like, "Yeah, there's no coming back. We're just no monetary."
Shrug.
It's like it's not like we're gonna make money off of this anymore. What's the point?
Sorry,
That's probably what they were
guys.
thinking, yeah.
They weren't making money when it came
Yo!
out. I mean, what was it?
Oh my god,
It was not
pause.
even-
Pause. Interruption.
Okay.
What?
They just announced the contents of the collector's edition for Resident Evil 2.
Oh,
Balls.
There's a Leon statue.
Ah.
How
So-
are we talking?
is that
Sorry.
is that the of I need it or I don't want it?
It's $200.
Oh, yeah, never mind. I don't need that.
I mean, it's not just the statue. Like, there's other stuff. I'll send the link in Discord. You guys can check it out.
You sound like me with the
value than
Okami.
the vegan packet they did with their version.
I don't need
I
the
don't know,
Okami statue. I
already
need
pre-ordered
it.
I pre-ordered my Steam version already, so I'll probably hold off.
As far as collector's editions that go, though, that doesn't sound like it holds a candle to Ion Maiden.
I didn't get to check that link yet. I thought it was just like an update. Is
It's
there
a-
like an actual?
Actually, I should check that to see if it's sold out yet. But
Oh, God.
is a 500 count collector's edition that includes the basically only physical print run of the game, a figurine of Shelly Harrison, I think her name is, Bombshell,
Okay.
some mock-up key cards, and among all the other things in there, I'm skipping to the end, a working floppy disk with the game on it.
Which is crazy.
Boy.
Like, who uses
Boy,
who even has a floppy disk reader anymore?
I'm on it right now. Holy crap!
They
And it's
legit
only
made this work
$100.
on the original Duke Nukem 3D engine.
How many more versions are there, by the way?
There's still 100 of them in the store.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's pretty good,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah,
So,
they give you key cards, a lanyard.
before we get to our next thing, since it's media related, I figured I'd mention it. I'm not sure if you guys heard. James Gunn got fired as director of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Really?
Yeah, he tweeted some stuff.
What did he tweet?
I'll send you
exciting.
the link.
Ooh, spicy.
I read the
Yeah,
headlines, I didn't read the story yet.
This is gonna get juicy.
I put it in resources.
Basically, the next Joss Whedon, because he's not. I'm not even going to say anything about it. I'm just going to say read the articles.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So just before we segue out of this entirely, one more thing on the collector's editions. Alien Colonial Marines. I was able to get a collector's edition for that thing less than 2 months after the game came out for $20.
What did it come with?
A Space Marine fighting a Space Marine in a power loader fighting a Xenomorph.
That's pretty dope, actually.
Yeah, I mean there were other stuff in there like fake blueprints of a base layout, Wayland Yutani documents.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm glad I got that. Even if I don't play the game, that's a neat thing for an Aliens fan. So
I was
Yeah.
just gonna say, like, for a fan of the franchise, like, that's still really, really cool.
mhm.
But yeah,
I mean, it
don't
would have
know.
been even better if it was Ripley in the Power World fighting the Xeno, but beggars can't be choosers.
hmm
Well, it's also, to be fair, not super relevant to the game, as far as I know.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's. I think they should.
I've never seen a
probably-
game lose value that fast off of bad press. I mean, even when you get Activision Blizzard being thrown under the bus for how much bullshit in their AAA releases that charge through the nose for basic bullshit, they hold the price for a full quarter.
Oh, did you guys hear that? Apparently a patch to World of Warcraft broke the game.
Yeah, they're doing the pre-patch for Battle for Azeroth, and things are not working out that nicely.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
Was it just like bugging and stuff?
Yeah, it was a little bug. Straight up buggy, man.
You'd think that they'd have enough experience with that by now.
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah.
Why does no one want to buy our games anymore?
Could it be the fact that we're marking up the editions with less content in them and still charging a subscription as one of the only ones in the entire industry? No, it's the players who are wrong.
Yep. Screw those guys.
What do they know?
Hey, what do they know? They just give us money.
Fire the QA team. We need more money to throw in the fire pit.
Get Josh Sweden in here.
I was about to say Error 34, but I mixed it up with Roll 34, and that just makes me think about Blizzard.
No!
Yes!
No.
Get Roll 34 in here.
Gross.
Speaking of floppy drives.
Yeah.
So
do we have anything else on this with the aliens, typos, and Gearbox, or should we just move on?
Wait.
I'm thinking about floppy. What? No.
But just because Alien, it made me think of the movies and that, that thing you showed me last night, Chris, that poster.
Oh, yeah, the new Predator movie poster is just the XCOM 2 poster with Predator instead of an alien.
I love it.
Like, no exaggeration, it is the same.
Like,
I
literally.
saw the devs share it. I thought they made it as a fan art thing, but that was the real poster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait,
yes.
It's bad.
Can we last post it in the group chat? Or is it already there?
I will see if I can. And by see if I can, I mean I will do that for you.
Oh, I love
Give me
you.
1 second. Yeah, no, it's very, very like I'm not mad about it. I don't actually really care, but like, it's hilarious.
It's a high of hilarity.
Guess they just really liked the game.
Yeah.
Fair. XCOM's a pretty good game.
So anyway, moving on. While I find this.
So now that we've called what remains of the aliens
You want to talk about another
discussion, we can
game?
go to the Culling 2.
Yeah, perfect. So the Culling 2 it was a train wreck of a game. I was reading up on it. Apparently, on the second day, there were only 2 people on the server to play.
What?
Yeah.
2?
That's worse than Lawbreakers.
Yeah, it was worse than
Holy
Balborn.
shit.
Balborn's like, wow, we can't compete with this.
Like in a game that's supposed to have like 50 to 100 people duking it out.
In one map.
Well, I guess 2 players is technically multiplayer.
Yep.
Well, and dude, hats off to the ETC boys. You have a 50-50 chance of winning, they say.
So like, so they're going to be giving out refunds now for the game. They're like, yeah, we're just going to go back to updating Culling 1.
Yeah, they're redoing the first one as like a big old like revisiting collector's edition thing. By the way, Eric, check it out.
Okay, one moment. Let me alt tab this good boy.
Right down the
Oh
red lights
my
on the right, blue
God.
lights on the left.
I'm in
The
love.
blue is on the left and everything. Yeah, it's bad.
I just saved the image. Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, dude, they must have been like, yeah, we just play a lot of. We play a lot of XCOM, man. We wanted to make this movie about XCOM, but they said no one's gonna watch it, so we made a Predator.
So we're like, what about Predator?
And we couldn't have the Predator cameo in XCOM because that was just one Xeno. He would not last that long in a campaign. So
Yeah.
The Predator Stripe would have been what was it? It was a Nemesis system. What was their version of that? Like the special aliens that just came and just murdered your life.
I'm blanking.
You have an idea what I'm talking about? It was like
I don't think so.
it was like in the second game. They had like hunters that would come out and get you in every randomly spawned maps.
I barely touch XCOM. I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll come back to that
It's
later.
still on my list of things to play, but I've seen like a little bit of like gameplay from it, but I'm unfortunately as lost as Chris is.
XCOM is a great game, but also just so frustrating when you get bad dice rolls.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of just the nature of the
Beast.
the engine. Yeah.
I played enough D&D to get used to that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We should do a D&D night.
It's got to be more than a night, my guy. Like,
Just lock us in
I
the
don't
room.
know. There's probably no real talk though. I wonder. There's probably like people out there who have optimized like one night campaigns for people who want to play but like just don't have the time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. Like, yeah, let's do it.
Dude, so I'm gonna be completely honest. The only time I played D&D was, well, I didn't actually ever play D&D. I played Pathfinder, which is kind of like the
Yeah.
kind of
yeah.
like it. My first time playing it, I made a druid, and you know how you're supposed to like make your own character with his own like flavor and all that good stuff.
Yeah, of course.
I went a little overboard, and my guy ended up like he got choked out in his first mission, and that became his new fetish. So
I thought this was the eco-terrorist druid. This is the kinky one.
No, he was also an eco-terrorist. He would burn down houses with acid because you killed his family of trees. He was a good lad. So we
You
should.
heading out, Heather?
Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be in an hour with whatever kind of meat. I think this.
That's my mom.
It's like, ooh, a guest star.
Ooh, okay.
We're getting dinner.
Oh, you bastards.
Ooh.
And then I'm just
Okay,
Okay.
before we wander too far away from the discussion, has anybody here played the Culling? Like, either game?
I've watched a lot of Northernlion play the Culling back in the old days. It's more or less, it was like the granddaddy to PUBG.
anyway, I'll be back in like an hour.
It's good old grandpappy.
Okay, see you later.
Mm.
We're visiting Taylor's family this week.
Nice.
Yeah. We're adopting a kitty.
Chris, did you watch Egg Boy play the Culling?
I actually have seen some of the eggs playthrough of it. Yeah, like doing matches and stuff. It didn't actually. I wanted to say like it really didn't look like that terrible of a game.
No,
it wasn't
didn't.
quite my thing. But like, I honestly like, dude. By all means, I think they kind of have a shot here at like revisiting the older title.
Yeah, like
It really wasn't that bad.
To be honest, they kind of also got like the whole, hey, we have publicity now.
Well, yeah, like people are probably gonna try it if it's good. Well, aren't they gonna make it free to play?
Are they? I'll play if it's free
I
to play.
am like, dude, you'll have to check me on this. I'm, not sure, but I'm like very, very sure in my head that I heard them say like they're gonna make it free to play and like tweak a lot of different things. But I'm not actually sure. Just in my own head, I am.
Well then,
But
That'd be
dude,
nice.
that's like honestly kind of a strategy. It's people are going to be curious about the game, but they're not going to want to pay for it after that. So
I'm ready
I
for
don't
it.
know. What?
I would play it. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not a big Battle Royale kid. But
No, I don't like it either.
Yeah.
It's something I would dick around with friends, but I'm more interested in like rip-offs of the genre, like tongue-in-cheek stuff. Like, you guys heard about Totally Accurate Battlegrounds, right?
I have
yeah.
not.
You would like that, Eric.
Will I?
Yeah, it's basically how do I explain it? It's a battle royale game. It's the whole joke is haha PUBG. But it's all very physics based, like ragdolly, silly physics, and like I know that's kind of played out,
Mhm.
but when it's when it's biting on the battle royale genre, it feels a little funnier.
Oh, cool.
I think you dig it. It unfortunately, I think I like tried to like message you guys about it. It was free during its launch, but now it's cheap.
Yeah, but it actually you have to pay for it now. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I grabbed it while it was free. So if you guys ever want to give it a shot, I have it installed on my home PC.
Yeah, definitely, dude.
But yeah, so I think the Culling, I honestly think they might have a chance.
So like, I've been watching a lot of Northern Lions' recent videos, and like, he's like, it was almost unplayable on release.
Oh, the second one?
Yeah, like it would crash on the.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've seen him play the first game.
Oh yeah, I was talking about the first one, but now I pivot to the second.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't see him play the second one because that was like a 1-day thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Dude,
dude.
that's so crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Hmm.
I don't know, dude. I feel like it would be heartbreaking as a company to just be like, put all your eggs in a basket of making a new game. It's like, that can't be cheap.
Well, because
Nope.
the Culling was like their only real series, right?
I believe so. What's the name of the guys who made it?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know because I didn't really play their games. But either way, I know the Culling was like really, really big deal for them. So it does really suck to that was their biggest game. I know that. It was whoever they were, it was their biggest title. And you know, the first one, I had heard of it. I said to Taylor the other day, like, I'm surprised this happened because I saw a lot of our friends playing it on Steam. Excuse me, at any given time.
I think
I
it was
saw
just
a lot of
PUBG.
streamers playing it.
I think just PUBG was just like a beast that just ate it.
Yeah. Yeah, they got big like around the same time, and you know, then Fortnite kind of solidified the whole thing.
There's always a bigger
Yep.
fish.
Yep.
But oof, dude, 2 players on a genre that's built off of like massive multiplayer experiences.
crazy.
It's like Mag all over again.
Dude, Mag was so ahead of its fucking time.
Dude, I love Mag. I'm like, it's so sad that it kind of went down the drain.
I'm sad I never really got to play it. We had it, but I never really tried it. My dad, I think, played it a couple times.
Mm.
But-
I play. Let's do- I was gonna say, I played it as soon as it came out, so it was like the golden era for Mag.
Oh, you really played it then.
Yeah,
like, you
yeah.
experienced it the way it was meant to be experienced, really.
And it was
Yeah,
nice.
I think I got in.
Oh,
I think I got in about a year deep on it when my friend Kyle tried getting me to play it. And
Okay.
not my cup of tea, but I got to appreciate what they did.
It was nice.
Yeah,
It was
especially
just.
back then.
It was just. They fell trapped to the whole. Hey, we can make players pay for this one new super heavy armor, and you can just face chunk all bullets.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I remember them having you pay for additional loadout slots, or was it character slots? Like, it seemed like something really basic that should have been in there by default, but they charged for it.
No, I think it was just that it made it really expensive for certain types of armor, and it just pissed
Oh, yeah,
off
it was
the whole
character
community.
slots. That's why I was trying to play with 2 different groups of friends, and they were in different factions in the game. But I can only have one character default.
Oh wait,
What
was
the
that it?
fuck? I didn't know Mag pulled any of that bullshit.
Yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
hey, we only want you to play as these 3 factions, and you can't switch.
And also, I don't know what it was like on. Actually, it was just PlayStation 3, right?
It was just
Yeah,
PlayStation
yeah.
3. Yep.
Okay, then so it doesn't matter what other platforms did because the way they had it set up for Mag was it defaulted to auto paying or subscription for that because you don't get a one-time payment for an extra character slot. It's a subscription.
Wait, what?
What?
I don't remember this.
I remember because I did it thinking it was a one-time payment and I got screwed by the fine print.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay, screw Mag. I had all this respect for the game up until now, man.
Like,
Don't meet your idols.
Yep. They'll only make you feel bad.
Always let you down.
Yep. I don't know, like it was. I feel like it was very like good for its time, but it definitely wasn't one of the games that was meant to stay around for a long time.
Like something worth trying, and it's a testament to the kind of scale these projects can get to. But I'm not going to hold it up as a gold standard for something that needs to happen again.
It was a good like starting point. I think it's a good way to put it.
Well, speaking of, I think it could be fun to be the old man saying, "I remember" once in a while.
I remember when I used to play games like Mag.
Do you guys want to really get into it and say, "Fucking Halo big team battle"?
Yo.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I remember.
Yo.
Fuck yes.
What was your Halo game of choice? Mine was 2.
Well, here's the thing. I was
2 for sure.
I was really into all of them up until like 4, and I played a lot of 1 with my friends locally. Obviously, I got really into 2, and then 3. Forget it. It took off, and 3 led into me being really into Reach when it came out, because I was liking the loadout idea, because it was a way to feel a little more personalized with the weapons you liked, without it being, you still had to find a rocket launcher, you still had to find a shotgun. It still felt like an arena shooter.
Mm-hmm.
And I had friends that we would sit in like my one friend's basement and split screen, the 3 of us. It was me, my friend, and his cousin, and we would try hard. But it wasn't like it was fun. We didn't care if we lost, but like we were like, yo, we need to fucking do this shit. We would make call outs. It was 4 people teams was the average. So we were 3 out of a 4-man team, and we were just demolishing Xbox Live.
Dude,
it was so fun.
For me, I remember playing Halo 2, and we would just make custom character names. So we'd do like Man Bear Pig versus Al Gore.
Oh my god. I can see you doing that, Eric, just with the shitty grin on your face.
Literally, that's all we did. We just made multiple profiles just so we can make this happen.
Oh my god. You got splattered by Man Bear Pig, etc.
Oh, dude, it was beautiful. It was art.
Dude, and then Halo 4 came out, and I really liked it for a while. Like, I would, in a fun way, I would be a fucking tryhard. I would actually win games, and I wasn't used to that with online stuff, because I wasn't really the play competitively type when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of like was where my competitive edge started to come out. And dude, I miss being really into Halo, but there's just so much going on now with, I have no interest in the Xbox ecosystem.
Same here.
And Halo is like it's in a weird spot. But dude, if Halo makes its PC revival like people are saying it will,
dude, it's gonna be beautiful.
I will go the fuck in.
Same for sure.
Yo, we can do a thing for that then.
Yo,
Yeah.
I started with 2. Like, I went back after the fact and played 1, but 2 is like where I started getting. That was my first like online multiplayer game, and like, God, I wish I knew how many hours I put into that. And then it all like, it kind of like rolled over to 3, and then once 3 kind of like started to like die down a bit, I kind of stopped like completely. I still love it, but I don't know. Just my interest definitely dropped off when 4 came out.
Well, I think the tough thing is a lot of the interest in competing in a game comes with the competition. So, as much as I fucking love games like Samurai Showdown 5 Special, I'm not as likely to feel competitively attached to it, because there's still an underground scene for the game, but a game like Third Strike, even though it's old, there's still a competitive tournament scene for it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Halo, I don't feel as invested in, getting good at the game again and playing my heart out, because it's not really a big scene like it used to be.
Yeah.
Dude, do you remember like the rivalry between Halo and Gears of War?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, Gears of War is vicious with them.
Oh yeah. Well, dude, I still like. I remember, like I said, Reach. I was still really into, and dude, I remember like the rush of seeing somebody, because remember they had the ranking system in Reach.
Reach.
Do you remember that?
No, I don't actually.
Okay, so they had like, it was like a military ranking system kind of, but it got crazy. Like after you reached like sergeant and general and things like that, you reached like, I don't even remember the ranks. You'll have to look it up, but they were sci-fi kind of ranks, and you would see somebody with like that. I think it was like a moon in their profile, and that was like a higher up rank. And I would be like, "Uh oh, he's on the other team. He's the guy to watch." And then we would like demolish the other team, and it was just a fucking rush because the game was so competitive at the time that when you saw a rank like that, you knew they put in work.
Yeah.
And it just lost that to me.
Mm.
And you know, like we were saying, Eric, you know, we have no interest in the Xbox ecosystem.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, but like, really, what does Xbox have to offer right now? That's really big.
Yeah.
They got Sea of Thieves.
Hmm.
I know how you feel about that.
Well.
Jolly good.
Ugh.
Jolly good, sir. Jolly good.
But yeah, so I guess TLDR, I'm kind of proud of the Culling devs for being like, oh, this was a bad idea.
Yep. Well,
And I you know, good luck to them. I look forward to seeing what they come up with.
to be fair, there's like not much they could have done. Like, yeah, this is a bad idea. Now what?
Yeah. All right, so the last topic. Did you guys check out that
Shotgun through
article?
the rides of the week first, just so we have some.
Oh yeah, please do.
Okay, so just can bring a little joy to before we more heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, some good things going on.
Ooh,
I won't tell you that anymore. Sometimes it happens.
yay.
So let's do these in reverse order of when they were revealed, most recent first. And just within the past hour or two, Invader Zim had a new movie announced.
Great.
Enter the Floribus.
I thought that was rumored for a while.
It was rumored, and they started teasing it recently, but we just got the trailer today.
I am so excited.
The hype is real.
There's a couple changes to the art direction I can pick out, but honestly, it's not so severe that it seems disingenuous. It's
Okay.
just an updated Invader Zim, basically. Like they were a
I
bit
like
thinner-
to think that they're smart enough not to have like a Powerpuff Girls situation on their hands.
Yeah, it's like the line art's a bit thinner and things are definitely brighter, but it's not like washed out. It just like they went with a brighter color palette.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
What else? So, do we have any other information on Invader Zim, or are we just telling
I
people to check
don't.
out the trailer? So,
Can we talk about
there
our
was
good
also some
memories of
comics, I
Verizim?
think, so it might be worth checking out.
I had a lot of good memories of Verizim, dude.
I still have the Halloween special grounded into my head.
Nice.
I have the DVD set. I was like my brother and I's thing with our dad. Like every time we saw our dad, it was always Invader Zim. So it's good times.
It was like, I know like some people don't like it because, you know, Hot Topic did Hot Topic to it.
Well, then that's a shame. I know what you're talking about. And like, even I mean, I don't actually give a shit, you know, when I tell people, oh, I like Invader Zim, but at the same time, part of me is like, oh god, do I have to fucking clarify? Like, I like the cartoon, and I'm not that kind of person
Look,
that you're probably thinking.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, when I was like, when I was between the ages of like, I don't know, like 13 and 16, I totally like, I had all that stuff from all the Invader Zim shit from Hot Topic. I was so into it. But like, I'm not ashamed because the show is fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude, it was a great show.
Yeah,
It was one of my favorites. I love like how like absurd it was.
yeah, totally. I was like my first introduction to like weird comedy
Mm-hmm.
as a kid. But
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that was probably Ren and Stimpy, but Invader Zim still has a.
oh yeah, true. Ren and
What
Stimpy
was
is
it?
so weird.
I forgot about Invader Zim. It was sometime around Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube poops were a big thing at the time, and they tried putting Gur's voice over Yami Merrick.
Oh no.
I think that's when I forgot the franchise existed for a long time.
I completely, like, as a kid, did not understand YouTube poops.
Oh,
At
dude,
all.
I loved YouTube poops.
I never understood what the fuck was so funny.
I
That
definitely
was part of it.
I liked them, but also kind of like you, I didn't understand why I thought it was so funny. Like it's just like nonsensical.
Yeah, and like now I can't get enough of them. It's incredible. It's oh, mwah.
Yeah, unfortunately, YouTube poop is a really good name for it because most of them are shit, but there are some really good ones out there if you go looking.
I'll send you guys a good one that our friend made.
I think the only ones I still watch are probably what's his name, the Manslayer or something like that. He does Skyrim ones.
Okay.
Oh, some of my favorites are King of the Hill YouTube poops. There's one guy who's like makes like the best ones, and like even if I guess you kind of have to like the show to like even find it remotely funny, but you know which ones I'm talking about.
Boggle?
Yeah, that one.
Yep.
Okay, so before we wander off too far from the idea of just rapid firing good news, next up we have the revival and possibly the final season of the Clone Wars cartoon.
Really?
Which, for my taste, is probably one of the best Star Wars anythings to come out in a long time. I would argue that it's equally, if not stronger.
Oh wait, robot.
Okay,
Restart that part.
not.
Oh no.
Oh no!
How about now?
Droid.
What?
Say that again. He's typing.
It's never good when he
Oddly,
types.
yes, you are. Yup. Oddly appropriate for Star Wars talk.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Okay.
It won't be our show without.
You're good.
Any-
You're back.
Better? Okay. So Clone Wars is probably one of the best.
Nope. Okay.
No.
Please tell me now.
Yep, you're fine.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, so Clone Wars is probably one of the best properties to come out of Star Wars in decades. It's one of the best war stories I've ever seen on television, and the style took me a while to get used to, but considering they started with the vestiges of a Genndy Tartakovsky cartoon to preview Episode 3 and a terrible spin-off movie that was experimental CG at the time,
Yeah.
the fact that this couldn't even happen at all, much less is as good as it is shocking. And the series just kind of left off on a nothing note for season 5, and now we're finally getting things wrapped up
Yeah.
with one of my favorite expanded universe fiction characters in Star Wars, really.
So will this be canon? Wait, was this canon
yeah.
after it got taken over by Disney?
It was canon after the acquisition, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that was one of the few things they kept intact, if I remember correctly.
I think the only reason it was still canon was because the series was ongoing when the acquisition was first being hammered out.
Gotcha.
But they kept it, and they're adding on to it now, which is a nice olive branch considering all the other stuff that's happened with Star Wars since the acquisition.
Yep.
Well,
You guys heard that they canceled a lot of the new movies, a lot of the spin-offs? Oh, they
No.
didn't cancel it.
Yeah, all the
they're
ones that
holding
weren't
off.
announced.
Yeah.
huh.
So it doesn't mean anything if they cancel things that haven't even been announced yet, because this is all just internal speculation.
Mhm.
Right, yeah. So it kind of doesn't help anything.
Yeah, they're kind of like, yeah, so we kind of feel like you don't like our movies right now, so.
And the only thing they're not canceling, as near as I can tell, is the Rian Johnson trilogy, which is pointless because he was responsible for one of the worst Star Wars movies I can think of. And I'm lumping in the prequels and the holiday special in that comparison.
Really? You think it's that bad?
I think The Last Jedi is that bad.
Oof.
Oof. I didn't think it was that bad. Like, I didn't like it, but I didn't think it was
I
that
felt
bad.
that one. Damn.
If you want to make this a topic for another day, we can go into a lot of detail. But I'm saving you from me just spitting bile. So
Have you guys actually watched the movie? Well, I know, like Chris, you
What?
said
I'm sorry.
Chris Taylor. Have
Yeah,
you
I was
guys watched it?
Oh, no, not yet.
Oh, dude,
No, we kind of fell behind.
it's a trip. It's a
Ugh.
trip.
okay, so
Ugh.
before we close off on a note of bad movie, here's a good movie. It was, let's see, directed by Alan Ungar and starred Nathan Fillion. Any guesses? And pretend you didn't hear me give you the topic away before the show.
Oh, right. I actually don't remember though. Fuck.
Same here.
Fuck.
The Uncharted fan film.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh,
And
never
it's
mind.
actually great.
I saw the Harry Potter fan film, and it was okay.
So let's stay with the actual good movie then.
Yeah.
So this Uncharted fan film is basically what Hollywood will never make because they're too far up their own asses to actually pinch out a good idea now and again.
Lovely.
Cowards.
Nathan Fillion was the inspiration for Nolan North's performance as Nathan Drake. And
Right.
he's about as close as humanly possible to actually having a live action Nathan Drake. And he sells this part brilliantly. None to mention the cinematography, the action, just everything in this fan film is on point. It's short,
Right.
it's only 15 minutes, it's not a full Hollywood production, but that said, it's a fan film, and it's better than most of Hollywood's movies.
Well, I mean, dude, just look at how much of the media scene is moving towards independent. I mean, I've been on that fucking indie music shit for years, but that's just because I listen to a lot of metal. But you know, like independent music's been incredible for a long time now because throughout the the early 2000s, it's been getting easier and easier to record your own music in your bedroom. For God's sake, my cousin had a fucking like CD based 8-track recording apparatus from Boss, and that thing was made in like the mid 2000s, so it's not new and it's still incredibly usable. So independent music is one thing, and then we had the indie game revolution, and film is kind of on its way.
Yeah,
Production
totally.
costs have skyrocketed far too high, and they have to court an international global market to even have to go the indie route. Otherwise, it's just going to implode.
That was so robotic, my man.
Yeah, Chris, you want to try that one again?
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Go for it.
I was just saying that the move towards the indie film market is it is inevitable at this point because the production costs have skyrocketed to so high where you need an international or full-on global market to just break even, let alone make a profit. It has to go indie or it's going to implode.
This is pretty
Yeah.
exciting. Like, I would never have thought this would have been a thing in America. Like, I know in other countries there's a huge like indie film scene. Like, I think in South Africa there's a really, really big one. I think it's called Bollywood. That might be India.
Yeah,
But
That's India.
There's one in South Africa which is crazy big and it's all indie films.
the guys who are self-admitted, like, yeah, we know we use like super budget effects, but like we're working with what we have.
It's where do you know the way it came from?
Yeah, no, I have a lot of fucking respect for those guys because they're in Africa and they're like, look, we really love movies, we love cinema, we don't have a lot of money. They're working on fucking computers from the late 90s and they're making like HD film. Like,
Yeah, dude. They're like, I love it. And like they all have so much fun with it.
yeah. And they I saw an interview with them, and if I remember correctly, they were like, "Yeah, we know, like, our stuff is like super budget, but like we do it because we love it." And I remember like even in like crossing the lines a little bit here between game and movie, when I was in like early high school, late middle school, something like that, definitely early high school, I think. I saw a fan film that I still have favorited to this day. It was a Splatterhouse fan movie made in like partial like CG, but with real actors as well. And like it was like 2 minutes long. It was campy and it was awesome. And it was exactly what I would want out of like a video game movie. And then you have people come along and do this fucking shit with like Rampage, and it's misguided. It's misguided.
Dude, the Rampage movie is a work of art. I don't know what you're talking about.
Ugh. Ugh. You know what? I'm digging up the Splatterhouse film, and we'll share it on the Facebook and Twitter and stuff.
I was actually told that the Rampage movie wasn't as just like painfully bad as you thought it would be. You would think it would be, but it's also just really bad.
It out.
Yeah. But like, don't put all your eggs in that basket.
Yeah.
So apparently, all you have to do to make good video game movies is take Hollywood out of the equation.
Well,
What a shocker!
woo! Yay,
Okay,
Hollywood.
so does anybody also have any nice little snippets of good news, or should I just get my honorary mention?
Let's do honorary
Go
mentions.
for it.
So, Dragon Ball Super came out with an announcement at San Diego Comic-Con, which is ongoing, and there's a lot to go through, so we'll probably report on that next week. But San Diego Comic-Con had them drop a trailer for the Dragon Ball Super movie, which is their quote-unquote new Saiyan whom has never been heard of before, the Broly movie.
Dude, I'm hyped. Broly looks like he is angry as always. Wait, okay, listen.
Mhm.
If Broly isn't a mindless monster as always, then I'm hyped. But they have such a temptation to make him a mindless monster like always. Goku cried too much. I am angry. Ah.
Well, I mean, this one's been pre-produced by Toriyama, and he's had a lot of insight and direction it's going, so...
Okay,
Chances
well,
are
there's
he's
that.
gonna- There's a thing, though, where he might try to keep him more close than change him just to mess with us and do something unexpected.
Nice.
But then again, he's going to do it with the Toriyama flair, so hopefully it'll at least get a laugh out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, I
So-
was never.
the
I was
animation
never
did look
super,
good.
Like,
I'm sorry,
I've
you were
been meaning to
saying?
go back and watch Dragon Ball because, like, I missed out on it a lot.
Honestly, I
kid.
think you could just watch OG Dragon Ball, and that's enough.
Yeah.
Like, Z, I think, is only as good in my eyes as I think it is because I grew up with it. And Super is equal to or lesser than Z.
Okay.
So the Broly movie got announced, and to close things off, I realized why IGN should not be given anything resembling press pass, because they had Sean Schemmel and Chris Sabat, and they wasted their time by having them read Yelp reviews in their character voices.
Lovely.
Like, you have two of the best English dub voice actors in history, and you're gonna have them read Yelp.
Beautiful. This is art.
Get out. Get out. Get out.
That was
Get
an
out,
okay
get out.
movie.
I didn't.
Wait,
see
Get
it
Out was
yet.
okay? Did you watch the same movie I watched?
No. I was joking. It was a pretty bad one.
What?
Listen, don't hate on Get Out.
Hang on, I like that movie. What the hell are you trying to say?
Uh-oh.
To be honest, I don't really
I
remember.
don't think Eric knows what he's saying, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not going to hide things. I don't remember Get Out.
Fuck it. It was one of the best movies that year.
Which one was that about?
Oh my god.
Stop it.
Oh, I love driving
I'm
Chris
moving
angry.
on. I'm moving on. I'm mashing the move on button.
Please.
So did you guys read that article I sent you?
I read it, yeah.
Okay. So
Anybody else?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did everybody else read it?
Which one?
The one I sent in Discord.
When, though, like, the last one?
Yeah.
Shit, wait, what was it?
The new perspective.
I'm gonna take those to know.
Oh, the image. Sorry, no, I was looking. I didn't know what fucking which channel it was posted in.
That's okay.
I didn't read it because I can't read it. The text is too small.
Open original.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, duh. I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
That's okay. Well, in any event,
Okay, we know what Taylor did. Eric, what's your excuse?
I got back
Yep.
from vacation. I was very tired.
So did they!
God, Eric.
Listen.
Well,
All
in
right,
any event, okay. So, haha, we're unprepared, but I thought ahead for this. It is an easy article to sum up without. without like
It's
cheapening
10
it.
paragraphs. You can get through it quick. So
Yeah, but in any event, Paul Rose wrote an article for Retro Gamer magazine, which, by the way, shout outs, great magazine. I've been subscribing for a fucking long time. It's out of the UK, and it's he basically wrote an op-ed about liking games that were questionably immoral back in the day, like Leisure Suit Larry and things like that, and having a bit of a crisis where, I still have good memories of them and I still like them, but I'm not supportive of that kind of behavior. And I don't know. I think he makes an interesting case because it's his feelings. He's not telling anybody else how to feel. It wasn't that kind of piece. But I think it was a little heavy-handed. He's being too hard on himself, I think.
he comes off as a spineless whinnying oath. This was like
Oh,
the Polygon stuff.
okay, Chris.
Far Cry 5. What?
I don't think that you should really look, like, the game was made and it exists. Like, you shouldn't feel bad for enjoying it, I guess.
Well, that's a tough one.
I don't
because
know.
You can make the argument that, like, well, okay, if it exists and you enjoy it, that's one thing, but, should we be okay with games like it rearing their heads again?
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, it goes back to just the idea that I would never do fucking 99.9% of the things that people do in video games.
Just before I run my mouth.
Yeah, I think that would
how
just be.
specific are we on this topic? Like,
What, Chris?
before I run my mouth, how specific are we being with this conversation? Is it just like the specific themes and subjects discussed by the author, or is just the broader topic of playing games that we in some way disagree with?
Ooh, I mean, I guess it's kind of both.
Okay, then it's your topic. You lead it where you want to.
Well, okay, what I was going to say is, I know the violence is like a little more general and people are more used to it, and that's a different issue that people may or may not be used to it. But everybody knows our stance now. It's fiction, it's fantasy, and it's a safe outlet. It's very, very much that to me. I don't have anger issues, I don't have emotional problems, but it's still cathartic in a lot of ways, even though I would never harm anybody in real life. That being said, I understand that Leisure Suit Larry and games like it are a more difficult thing to grasp in this kind of light, because you look at a game like Soul Calibur that has your Ivy with your your skimpy outfits, or your Takis, or any of those kinds of characters, but they're still that's their clothing, that's how they're dressed. It's not how they're necessarily being treated. It's more an issue of objectification, which, like I've said in the past, there's male examples of it too. It's fantasy. It doesn't personally bother me. But Leisure Suit Larry, your whole perspective in the game is, I am a guy trying to get laid with skanks, so to speak. And it's the author of the article even says, like, it kind of goes deeper than that sometimes, because arguably the women are pretty intolerable of a lot of Larry's behavior, but at the same time, at the end of the day, you get to sleep with them. And I don't know, this is another case of it's a fictional expression of a thing. It could be just as much if you really, and this is why I think debating like this could be weird, because I could sit here and write like a 5-page debate topic on, well, he did it on purpose to showcase the ridiculousness of masculinity and in the dating scene, or he could have just been a guy. The writer of the game could have just been like, oh, I like titties and I want an excuse to flirt with digital women, so I'm going to make this game. Either one is entirely valid, and to me, in a digital environment, it is contained. That's just me, though.
Yeah, like, I don't really have a problem with it, to be honest. Like, it's not like
And I'll admit, I'm a man saying this.
Yeah.
I'm a straight man saying this, so take that as you will.
True. But like,
I admit it. But I'm also not particularly like against the idea of a game where it's a bunch of like bony or bonehead meathead kind of guys and some suave lady out on the town, and she's like, I just want to get laid, and just fucking these meathead dicks will do. I wouldn't fucking care. It wouldn't offend me as a guy personally.
do
How
you
many
think?
dating sims do you just describe?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I described all of them. Actually, no. If we're talking the typical Asian dating sim, it would be something more like shoehorned emotional plot and then hentai.
True.
Like,
And that's
I don't know,
dating sims. I'm not saying visual novels. Visual novels are incredible.
I
But anyway, go
f- I
on.
f- I feel like this is like almost having like the same problem with what's it called? Quagmire from Family Guy. That's like his entire MO.
Right. And if you find him to be an offensive character, that's one thing. But you could argue either way that he's a potentially, even if he wasn't intended this way by Seth MacFarlane, you can make the argument that he's a useful critique as a caricature of the male sex drive.
That's a good way to look at it. Like, not
Even if
like
it wasn't intended that way.
don't look at it like this is like a shitty like personality for a character. Just look at it as like an over exaggeration and like an extreme view of like an archetype that is bad, or
Yeah.
what people would think to be like quote unquote bad character.
Well, and at the
You
risk
know?
of sounding like a bit of a broken record, I think that it's been pretty solidly proven over centuries of human behavior that art isn't really what drives people to do things. Like, whether it's entertainment or art such as painting or music or whatever, that's really not the driving factor a lot of the time. As far as I can see, it's more that art is made about that stuff. So for a game to be a partially artistic expression of that kind of thing, it's if you don't like it, don't play it. But aside from that,
Yeah, I feel that.
I think this may be me going off on a bit of a bent, but call me if I am.
Mhm.
I think this boils down to a lot of just how the author is fixated on the depiction of females in the game. And this makes me think of the discussion of the Tomb Raider reboot. And you have these two very different depictions of Lara Croft. It's like you have the strong, empowered, suave, flamboyant, stylish character to start with from the original series, and then you have the reboot, which is more conservative, demure, dirty, gritty, and how you have those two depictions and four opinions on them, all of which say that it's a poor female depiction. And it's just people trying to have their cake and eat it too, because there is no way to placate the modern consumer that is going to nitpick every female depiction in gaming. Like the original Lara Croft was seen as a fighting fuck toy. She was treated as if she was just there for eye candy, and that her competence was merely an extension of the player agency to titillate them. And then there was the rebooted Lara, which was more traditionally female characteristics, given the changes to the personality, given the lesser stature when compared to physical confrontations against the adult male antagonists of the game. It's like, there's no way to placate somebody that is just trying to get a fully satisfactory depiction of women in gaming. And Leisure Suit Larry is not going to break that mold, especially not given the time, the subject matter, and the mechanical complexity or lack thereof. There is no way to explore
and I guess
the
you can
themes.
make the argument that old Lara Croft's confidence and ability with modern Lara Croft's visual design might be more of what people would be aiming for in your scenario. But at the same time, yeah, like I think it's not the design itself that's the problem. I think it's people's perceived notion of what they believe to be the effect on society.
Yeah, it's like the article goes heavy into the discussion of objectification of all characters except for the player character. And if you've read Modern
Which, to be
Feminist Theory,
fair-
which I do not recommend, but I have, and they go very heavy on this theory in that objectification is something that is so two-faced, back-ass words bullshit, and it's just backed up by psychological busy work so people can cite each other's papers for nothing other than objectification as a principle is heavily flawed because we are discussing something that is innately an object. And if you strip away the niceties of a polite discussion, everyone and everything is an object. Objectification is simply the prioritization of values placed upon said object. And people are acting as if we're completely dehumanizing all women rather than simply playing a game.
Yeah, where these specific characters are this way. And not for nothing, Larry ain't exactly a catch either.
Yeah, it's like
He's a
Eric
pretty
right now. You are an
shitty
object. You are
representation
a
of character.
like Eric, you are an object. You are a mammal. I can describe you in terms of height, in terms of weight, in terms of behavior. But all that said, no matter how much agency I ascribe to you, you remain an object within these parameters. You are thoroughly objectified. And that is not to say I am devaluing you. I am precisely valuing you.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Just
And I mean, I never ever want to come across as the boneheaded, like, I'm not up for any kind of discussion, like, don't get offended. But just know why you're fighting for what you're fighting for. And I know for me, it's because I think expression, it's a way to not have to care about what you think of people in the real world. I don't have to worry about being polite. I don't have to worry about, what is proper. I can just play the game and enjoy it.
yeah, just this article reeks of so much far left academia, and I'm trying to dignify it as I would any other article I've read, but the fact is I've heard these arguments before. They were not compelling then, and this guy trying to lash himself and salt his own wounds is not making it any more compelling at all.
Well, and that's why I was going back to, like, I think people overestimate estimate at all that art does any palpable damage. And my thought process is he is guilt-ridden for enjoying a game that is harming theoretically no one, but he thinks that the design and the storytelling and whatever else in the game is harmful in a societal sense. So he feels he is enjoying something that is harming other people, hence his guilt. And the disconnect comes where we all say, no, it's a game, it's not hurting anybody.
It reminds me of the Polygon article that came out, I want to say Far Cry 5, but maybe it was Far Cry 4, where the author was basically whipping himself into a frenzy because he was enjoying a Far Cry game. It's like, these are things I should not be enjoying. The overt violence, the propagandizing, the inherent thematic subtext, and all this political gerrymandering bullshit and every other buzzword he could pull out of his ass just so he could say he should not be enjoying this game, but he is. So
Like,
the
no,
point of
that's
his article is
exactly
I'm a
where you
hypocrite.
should enjoy it in the game.
It's like some of these authors out here are trying to make a point and they think that just offering themselves up as a hypocritical martyr is going to do it. And it's not a compelling argument. They're not offering any new criticism, and they're not even formulating in a way that's engaging to read. It's just, hey, I hate myself for this, but I can't stop. It's like, okay, do you want a
Great.
comparison to Bubbles from The Wire, Dookie at the end? Like, am I supposed to feel pity for you? Are you trying to make me think? What's happening here?
Well, yeah, and I always give these articles a shot just to stay kind of in the know. And at the end of them, I always kind of go like, yeah, no, dude, your problem is you don't have fun.
Yeah, I mean, this is
That's
something
it.
you have to do in order to have an informed opinion. You have to read things that you don't agree with. You
Yeah,
have to have
100%.
informed opinion.
Yeah. And I always come away from those articles with a similar viewpoint after giving them a shot. I'm always like, I get where you're coming from, but the problem isn't that you enjoy something that's considered bad or harmful. It's that it's not a big deal and you need to learn to lighten up. That's what I always end up feeling. And like I said, if it were actually bad, if it were like something truly awful, like, oh yeah, no, I know that this person's skin color doesn't dictate their behavior, but I just can't stop stereotyping them. Like, no, well then you should like do some soul searching and
Yeah,
learn
right.
what's wrong with you. But like, I enjoy fictional things in a fictional setting where that, you know, I am doing in the privacy of my own home where no one else has to be harmed by it if it offends them. It's no.
It's just people that are so obsessed with the message coming across from media, and how in recent years there has been this I'll send it to you if I can find it later. It was the stages of a Geekergate. It was based off of the stages of Gamergate, but it was a checklist to break down the idea of certain IP ownership transfers and community backlashes. And this just seems like another stage on that, where the idea of monopolizing the media to get your message across and criticizing messages that are contrary to your own takes priority over just ingesting the media.
Just like a small thing, I kind of hate the term something something gate, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
Same.
Blame Nixon for that, or can we just say that Twitter doesn't have an imagination?
It's just a lack of imagination. It's like how everything online is like the something something challenge. I don't know. It's just, I guess, irks me is a good word for it.
Yeah.
Just a small
Well,
thing.
it's like it's like the term, like, I mean, at the risk of introducing politics, like, I'm sick of hearing the term fake news just because it's a buzzword instead of actual description of an issue that's happening. So calling something blank gate is kind of the same thing. It's like, yes, I get where it came from, and it means a scandal regarding the prefix of whatever was before gate, but it really just, it's kind of a way to throw it into a
Agreed.
just a bucket. But anyway, what were you saying about it, Chris? Sorry.
Where'd you cut off?
Just kind of rewind to before Eric was saying stuff about gate.
The idea that the message of the media is more important than the consumption of it. The idea that there always has to be some sort of motivation beyond making art. And
right,
like, this guy will not talk about how, for example, he figured out the point and clicks or the puzzles or anything. It's just the subtext that he's reading into it, the themes hovering below. And this is overwhelmingly...
Like that, since it's not a positive message for society, it's inherently a negative in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wholly
So wrong.
with that. I wholly disagree with that.
Like, I'm not saying things have to not have a message for the purposes of entertainment, but these people are clearly stumbling across every protruding bit of metal they can find and call it a nail so they can hammer it down. And this is not the to quote Professor Oak, now is not the time to use that.
Yeah, exactly. No, and that's the thing. Like, as somebody who actually, you know, from a very young age, I'm gonna fucking toot my fucking man horn here, I guess, as some people would probably see it. But seriously, you know, I was and still am very close with my mom. She raised me to be very respectful towards everybody, including women, you know, people who weren't the same race as me, whatever. And I still enjoy games like Leisure Suit Larry because they're stupid. That's the whole point. I see it as like, wow, who would ever treat people like that? And that's why it's hilarious, because in this little container, in this little fictional world where nobody real is getting harmed, it's hysterical because it's so fucking dumb and outside of the way that I was actually taught to interact with other human beings.
You know what it
It's
reminds
like,
me
I like
of?
Warhammer 40. Like, I like Warhammer 40k. That does not mean I enjoy religiously motivated genocide.
You know what it really reminds me of? Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
And I love me some Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo is a hysterical cartoon because who the fuck actually treats people like that? Who actually goes up to women and like just oh, hey, you are your looks and I want you. Like,
Hey, let's see the
no.
monkey.
And I know there are people like that in the world, but they're ridiculous, and I ridicule them too.
I mean,
Yes.
Johnny Bravo is basically the Charlie Chaplin or the Mr. Bean, where it was just like you make the main character the comic relief, and it's not him on a stage as a show. It's just like he's the
Right. And I mean, it's interesting how I almost feel that we're at risk of making the same argument whenever we talk about, the violence in video games argument or anything similar to that. But this is interesting because unlike the others, it's a personal guilt instead of, oh, I want to like what I want to like, and society's against me. This is very personal.
Yeah, it's a guilt complex brought on by all the social pressures of recent political. You don't want to go into politics, but I already brought up far left academia. I'll back off if you want me to.
No, but it's not even political. It's just it's sociological at this point. I believe that there's a lot of tension. People like at no other time are scared of rubbing people the wrong way when they communicate. And I've always been kind of like that. I've always wanted to make the world, my interactions with somebody, I want to leave them in a better mood than I met them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get where this is all coming from. I don't want to contribute to a poor representation of certain people in media, but at the same time I try and give a lot back socially to people, and treat people with real dignity, real respect, that I think playing a game where some dude is just trying to get laid can be funny to me without it being a mark on my character.
I agree.
Sounds fair.
But I thought it was an interesting article though, because I saw a lot of this dude's real, personal, palpable guilt. And it's like, man, it's a game. You're literally harming nobody. If nobody sees you playing it, nobody knows you play it, and you don't treat anybody any differently because of playing it, it has done nothing.
Also, like,
Yeah.
it's such an old game too.
Well, right.
I kind of feel like we can thank Game Grumps for making it popular again.
Well, and sites like GOG are selling it again and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's nothing to be guilty about. It's a game.
I agree.
But yeah, I
It's a
thought
video
that was
game.
a pretty interesting article. Yeah.
I think the most I can do for this author is just to offer some genuine, honest criticism, and that is that he needs to stop guilting himself for enjoying what he enjoys.
Agreed.
Yep.
But he's trying to square so many circles and jump through so many hoops for nobody so he can make himself feel worse.
You do you, boo. You do you. That's a
Just
TLDR.
enjoy the game. Put all of this energy into worrying about what media you're consuming into actually treating people better.
Like
Because
humans.
I know nothing about him. I know nothing about this author. But all this effort he's putting into, like, either he's already treating people with respect outside of his little his home area, gaming sphere, whatever, and in that case, dude, you're fine. Like, that's the real issue. But if there's any part of him that's rude to people, whether they're men or women or whatever, if you're rude to your waitress when you go out to get coffee, if you're rude to the man or woman who delivers your mail, put the energy into being less of a dick there, instead of worrying about the fucking digital women that have no bearing on your everyday life.
Yep.
All right, I think that about does it for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was a good show.
You might have to find me a way to bash Trump next time. I did a lot of left hating on this episode.
Oh, well, we can do something really fast. It's super fast. If you Google the word idiot, he's the first thing that comes up on Google Images.
No, that's
Now,
not scary enough. I need to
is
actually
that-
prove him.
Is
That's just
that
an accurate
like,
observation.
did they do that on purpose, or is that like actually?
Oh, literally,
real
I have
result.
no idea. I'm
My money's on
assuming-
Google doing it directly, just considering
Yeah.
the
I can see that being a
was it
Google thing.
the Demore firing how long ago was that? Anyway, I would not put it past them to do that deliberately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning more towards it being that
I'm
case.
leaning
But
more towards getting out of this call because I'm not into this.
Hey, I'll insult everybody if you give me enough time. Just paint a target somewhere.
true.
No.
Yep. I've talked to Chris before.
So I think we're about done. Eric, I'm going to remind you, Get Out until you do. It's one of the best movies, and from that year, not best movies of all time, but still, it was Jordan Peele's first non-comedic debut. And it was a fantastic horror movie.
Great.
All right, let's do closing.
Okay, any closing remarks?
Closing time.
I'm about to go and get my hands on Predator and Predator 2 in preparation for the new movie.
Good.
Well, I think it's time for me to get out soon. So, Eric, hint, hint.
I have no idea what you're trying to say to me.
Of course you don't.
Eric, go watch the fucking movie. It's not like you're doing anything else. You're back home from vacation. You're beat. Watch a movie.
Listen, I got things to do, like watch movies.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
Okay.
bye.